Hey everyone, my name is Anissa Demeter, and I'm your instructor for English 112. And I wanted to post a video to go over kind of an introduction to the course, but also to talk about Module 1. All right, so I'm going to switch screens to pull up Moodle. Give me 1 second. Okay, you should see the Moodle screen here, and in the course information tab under contents, we have the announcement section. We have the official course entry verification. This has to be completed in order to stay in the course. It should be done before anything else in this class. The due date is the 23rd, but go ahead and take care of it now because you will have assignments due before then. So go ahead and get it taken care of. This solidifies your enrollment in the course, and if you do not complete it, you have to be withdrawn. So please make sure you take care of this first thing. And also about announcements, I do send announcements here. Sometimes it's just reminders, due dates, things like that. Most of the time it goes straight to your email, but just always double check your email, college email daily, and also check the announcements here. All right, and if underneath that, you'll see the English 112 syllabus and assignment schedule. This lists all objectives, learning outcomes, any type of policies that I have personally as far as in my class, but also college policies and other resources. Grading information is in there as well. So please make sure you look it over. Technology purchases, if there's anything that you guys need as far as to be able to take this class online, which may be whether it's a Chromebook that you could check out or purchase in Microsoft Office if needed, you could certainly use Google Docs, but you have to make sure when you use Google Docs that you download the file as a PDF file in order to be able to submit it. I can only accept Word documents and PDF files. So just be sure to save that if you're going to use Google Docs. Then we have accessibility, privacy, and minimum requirements for technology. This is just Caldwell Community College's policies. And then if you scroll down a little further, these are options for tutoring, free tutoring. You've got on campus and online. So definitely feel free to utilize these if you need extra assistance with writing your papers, proofreading and editing, formatting, documentation, all of that. Here's other links of important information that revolves around campus rules, policies, things like that. And I have provided 2 links here. One's for MLA formatting and documentation resources, and one is for APA formatting. The first 2 essays are going to be in MLA format and require MLA documentation, citing sources. The last 3, I believe it is, are going to be APA. And we have to shift from MLA to APA because when you write in the disciplines, which is what this class is called, you are writing across different areas of study that require different things. For instance, in humanities, in English, typically it's MLA format. But if you're writing in the field of psychology, or if you're writing in the field of applied sciences, those require APA. So you want to make sure that you utilize these resources here that will show you everything you need to know about MLA formatting and documentation, and then also APA when we get to that point. So make sure you use these. Okay, that is all under under the course information section. Now, if you click on Module 1, and guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to upload all of the modules for this course probably over the next week or 2. Module 1 is weeks 1 through 3. So that's going to give me some time to get the rest of these modules put in. And then you can work ahead if you want to. The only thing I ask that you do is that when you submit an essay, wait on that feedback before you submit the essay for the next module. That way you can iron out any problem areas that you might have and keep from making the same mistakes on other submissions. Okay, for Module 1, the first discipline of study is going to be cultural studies. That's what the focus will be. And the type of essay that you'll write for this is called a rhetorical analysis. So if you look down, just scroll down top to bottom, you've got a couple links here that you need to look at prior to doing any of the assignments. Writing and researching the disciplines. This shows a little bit about what this class is like and what it means to write and research in different disciplines. This goes into detail about what cultural studies is, what type of discipline that is. And this goes into detail about the writing process. Many students do not like to plan. They do not like to write any type of outlining, pre-writing, none of that before they write a paper. But I highly recommend that you guys plan before you write. Even if it's not in an outline format, please plan before you write, because that will ensure that you don't leave anything out, but it'll also make sure that you've got it in the correct formatting, and you know what goes where. And just also be sure to proofread and edit when you finish before you submit the actual draft to me. This link, if you click on it, it gives you everything that you need to know about the rhetorical analysis essay and what type of essay this is. Here are resources that tell you what the essay is like. The points that you're going to be discussing in your essay. You're going to need to read about the appeals, and you've probably read about them or heard about them before. It's persuasive appeals. Let me cut this slide off. I look really bright over here. You look looking at ethos, logos, and pathos as far as persuasive strategies that people use to convince others. And that's what cultural studies is all about. It's how people relate to each other and what tools do they use to be able to impact society. So the essay instructions are right here. If you click on those, and we'll look at those in just a second, but the rhetorical analysis essay is a 2-page essay. It needs to be in MLA format. It will have a works cited page at the end, which will mean 3 pages actually, 2 pages of essay, and then your works cited page. And you're going to have one source, which is going to be the movie speech, historical speech, or motivational speech that you choose. Most students choose a movie speech. Now, you're not writing about a whole movie. You're writing about just a speech that's provided, that where a speaker is delivering important information and trying to convince or persuade or impact their audience in some way, shape, or form. I'll show you some examples in just a second. But be sure you read all the instructions very closely, and you're going to analyze basically the effectiveness of this speech that you choose. And here is an outline. Now, this doesn't mean you need to submit an outline to me. You don't submit an outline. It is for you to help guide you to see what should be included, but also how you can help format and get ready to, kind of write your paper, making sure you don't leave anything out and making sure it's in the correct format that it needs to be. In order to choose your one speech, whatever that speech might be, it could be Ronald Reagan's speech. It could be George W. Bush's 9/11, post 9/11 speech. It could be Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. It could be the speech from Princess Diaries. I mean, it could be whatever you'd like, but it needs to come from one of these 2 websites. Just pick one of these to go with, find your speech in there, and then that will be the one speech you stick with, and that will be your source citation that will go on the works cited page, just the speech. No other sources should be used for this essay. Here's a sample. If you've seen the movie Footloose, this is a clip when Ren McCormick, high school boy, is going before the town council. That's his audience. And he is trying to convince them why him and his senior class should have a dance. If you've never seen the movie, you should watch the movie so you kind of get some good context for it. But I've also provided some context down here at the bottom. But you can watch the clip. And then here, after watching the clip, is a sample rhetorical analysis essay actually about that clip, about that speech. So you can get a really good idea of what a really good rhetorical analysis would look like of this particular speech. Now, no one should write about this speech. This is only for sample purposes, okay? Now, the rhetorical analysis essay PowerPoint has another sample in there from the movie A Time to Kill. It has Matthew McConaughey in it and Sandra Bullock. Really good movie if you haven't seen it. But you definitely want to look at that. It gives you the process for writing this type of paper using that example. And again, students cannot write about that example because I've provided it as a second sample. So just make sure you guys take a look at all of these resources, study them, look at what I did as far as the process through there to help you along the way. Okay, now, then after you scroll down from that, you've got your assignment section. Class introductions, they're going to be due this Sunday, August 20th. It tells you what to do here. Discussion board, get to know people, tell us about yourself, post a picture if you want to. And then you've got, now this is due this Sunday, and then you've got the MLA documentation quiz. This is just a review quiz. It's just a practice quiz. And I get it. Not, people aren't MLA savvy all the time. I totally get that. So this right here, if you'll click on it, take the quiz as many times as you want before that due date. And it will record the highest grade. So take it as many times as you want to get the highest grade possible, but it's good review for the basics of MLA. And then you have the rhetorical analysis essay, and I'm going to go over that in just 1 second. Okay, now I'm going to show you the instructions for the rhetorical analysis essay. Let me share this screen. Okay. You're going to choose a movie or historical or motivational speech that relates to today's culture in some way. Any speech you choose will relate to American culture some way. You'll make that connection. But you're going to analyze the use of persuasive techniques and their effectiveness based on who the speaker of the speech is, what the content of the speech is, what's the speech about, why, and what is its purpose, and then who is the speaker's intended audience. So those are the things that you want to focus on. So here are the 2 websites that you can click on here. Again, they're already, I just showed you the links that were in Moodle as well, but here they are again. You can click and then choose what speech you want to write about. You may already know, you may already have an idea. If you scroll to the end of this, I have listed some of the most popular used and discussed speeches, like Independence Day, Martin Luther King, Remember the Titans, George W. Bush's 9/11, post 9/11 speech, Friday Night Lights, A Few Good Men, 10 Things I Hate About You, Saving Private Ryan, Princess Diaries, The Patriot, Radio, Sully, The Family Man, To Kill a Mockingbird, Legally Blonde, and My Cousin Vinny. There are tons of speeches in tons of movies. So if you find one that's not right here, that's perfectly fine. Students find all kinds, but see, these are mainly some of the most popular ones that students refer to. Okay, so here are the instructions. You have to have the speech come from one of these 2 sources, okay? And that's going to be what you cite on that works cited page, that one speech source, but you'll also cite within your essay as well. Now, typically with MLA, you don't have, if you only have one source, you don't typically have to cite it within the essay, only on a works cited page. But we want to get into the practice of being able to cite in both places, because you're going to need that. You're going to need that further when we actually go with more sources for some of these other papers. So I want you to get into the practice. So you'll have the speech cite and documented correctly on the works cited page, but you're also going to need to cite the source within your essay as well when you use quotes from it. Okay, so this is a 2 to 3 page paper, so at least 2 full pages with a works cited page attached to the end. Okay, you're only using the speech source, no other sources. The source will need to be cited on a works cited page and within the essay. Your organization of this paper, it should be in MLA format. You need to look in the MLA resources link that I previously showed you in the course information tab that shows you how to set up an essay in correct MLA format. It's very important. And typically, you guys remember, the 5-paragraph essay. You have your introduction, you've got your first point, second point, third point, and then your conclusion. So you have 5 paragraphs there. If you need to expand or add like a third or or a 4th body paragraph, that's fine. As long as you have an introduction and a conclusion, you can have as many body paragraphs as you want in the middle. But for the 2-page paper, 3 body paragraphs is sufficient. Again, see the sample outline to help you get your ideas down. Introduction paragraph, here it tells you what to start with and what an introduction paragraph should look like. Your body paragraphs, it tells in here exactly what your body paragraphs should look like. Your body paragraphs should focus on the appeals, ethos, logos, and pathos, and how those tools are used by the speaker of the speech you are discussing and analyzing. Tell me, what examples of logos did your speaker use and how was it impactful? Did it resonate with the audience? Did they change their mind? Did they end up agreeing? You know, give the outcome. Same thing with logos and pathos. And then, of course, you have your conclusion at the end, and that's where you should tie things together and explain, you know, how that particular speech applies to American culture today and what it might imply about American culture today. That's really the only place that you should mention that is in the culminating conclusion paragraph. Some rules for writing: no contractions should be in academic writing. I know it's very difficult because we don't talk like that. We talk in contractions. I get it totally. But in academic writing, it's frowned upon and it's considered to be informal. So we want to make sure we don't use words like these, okay? We want to write them out. Do not, will not, cannot, you are, it is, okay? So no contractions. So that may be something you have to just write your paper and then go back and proofread for, because sometimes you don't want to write your paper and be so caught up in those little things that you miss putting in really good content in your essay. So, you know, proofread and edit and change that out when you get done with it. No first person wording. This is hard too. You know, and I'm probably not alone in this, but I remember teachers just kind of smacking me on the hand. Don't use first person. Don't use first person. Well, don't use first person in these essays. Use third person. Do not use second person. Second person is saying you do this, you should have this, you don't point fingers. That's what we call that is second person. Is kind of like you're pointing fingers. So no first person and no second person. It should be third person. Use MLA format. Again, see the video, see how to set your essays up, see the sample essays. Proofread and edit for grammar errors. This is not a grammar class, but I expect everybody to proofread and edit for their best effort when it comes to grammar. And if you want to contact the tutoring center on campus or online, they will help you proofread and edit. Document or cite the one source on the works cited page and also cite it within the essay. Now, remember I told you the speech that you choose has to come from one of the 2 websites that I put here, and I've also put in Moodle. If you look here, I've told you exactly how to cite it. So if you get your speech from the American Rhetoric website, here's how you cite it. If you got it from the Film Site website, here's how you cite it. So please make sure you read this thoroughly. Students somehow just skip over this part and never do it, and then end up with point deductions. So please make sure it shows you how to cite your source within your essay and also on the works cited page. Here it does the same thing. So just make sure whichever website you got it from, this is how you cite it. Okay. This is not an analysis of an entire movie. It's not. You're picking a speech, and the speech has to be motivational, argumentative, inspirational, something in some way that you're trying to impact an audience. Okay. Now, again, these at the bottom of this were just examples. There are tons of movie speeches you can choose from. Lots of students write about like Gladiator. I think there's one in there from Gladiator. There's one from Avatar. So, you know, there's tons. So it's just whatever you want to. If you don't watch movies, which I usually have 1 or 2 students, I don't watch movies, so I don't know this. Then pick an inspirational or historical speech to write about. You know, and when I say inspirational, I mean like, you know, some type of maybe an athlete or a coach, you know, gives a motivational speech, but it has to be somebody that's famous, somebody that's out there in the movie world, you know, historic figure, whatever, that made this speech. So you are analyzing a movie speech and its effectiveness, the speaker, the purpose that they're speaking for, and then their intended audience and how it impacted the audience. And you're analyzing that. And at the very end, trying to tie it into how it relates to American culture today. Okay, so that is module 1 in a nutshell. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please do not hesitate to contact me. You can reach me through email, or you can join the Remind app. I've put information, I think, through email about joining Remind. Thank you.